What is this?
This is the On God.
Wait.
This episode is brought to you by Avo Creative, a creative company that builds brands and people. To learn more, visit the link in the description of this episode. Welcome, God Gang. If you've been listening, you'd know I've been in my bag about art and creativity all season long. But these last couple of episodes are particularly epic. The series started with an episode titled, We Should All Be Artists, followed by True Artists Never Die Broke, followed by Be Very Careful What You Call Art. If you're an artist, or an aspiring artist, or an art enthusiast, wherever you fall in the art spectrum, those episodes were my gift to you. But this episode is the final piece of my art-themed puzzle, the epic conclusion to my art obsession. Lego. After winning the fight for your right to be an artist, you put in work, and by some stroke of luck or stroke of genius, you get recognized. Nothing prepares you for this part. People recognizing your face, knowing your name, that's a different ball game. God Gang, I think it's time we had an honest conversation about what would life be like if you became highly sought after? Can you handle? What kind of person would you be without your anonymity? Is it worth losing for some? These are just some of the questions. You probably think they don't apply to you because you've told yourself that you don't want to be famous. But whether or not you want to admit it, in the depths of your mind, at the bottom of your heart, you've at some point had a secret craving. We all have. Nobody's above it. We deny it because no one wants to admit they want attention or recognition. It's a level of vulnerability we're not ready for. But this is a safe space, and I'm going to get vulnerable with you in a bit. But the reason I say we all crave some level of fame is because from the moment we're born, humans have a never-ending need for attention. We are social animals at our core. Our survival and quality of life depends on the bonds we form with each other. Our sense of self depends on the quality of attention we get. It's not enough for people to merely see us or look at us physically. Psychologically, we want to feel recognized and appreciated for who we are. Because this need is so deeply ingrained in us, we will do almost anything to get attention.
It's the most deadliest drug known to man. It's stronger than heroin. That when you're only playing, it's to look inside a mirror and say, here I am for that. You'll fuck your friends, and if you had the opportunity, you'll do it again for some. It's addictive as fuck. People want it more than they want love. Yeah, they want.
If you observe the actions of most people, whether they admit it or not, you will see that attention is the primary motivation. People go to great lengths to get attention because attention is scarce. The demand is high and the competition is fierce. Everybody's got their own problems, their own needs, their own goals. You realize quickly that the world is indifferent to what you're going through or what you think you deserve. As a result, the moments we feel seen are few and far between. We can never get enough, which makes us aspire to fame even more. We see fame as the thing that will give us the attention we've been denied all our life. So this episode is to acknowledge that simple fact that we all have at some point and to some degree thirsted for attention, for popularity, for clicks, for likes, for views, for fame. And that's okay. The perks that come with fame are no joke. To be known and to be revered by millions, to be put on a pedestal and treated like a god for God knows what, nobody's above that feeling. If you can admit it, you're good.
Fame is a good thing. Okay, everyone wants to have fame in our world of social media and everything. Okay, so fame is a good thing. After all, it is recorded about Jesus that and his fame grew abroad. It was a very beautiful thing to describe about. But when fame meets you without depth, it destroys you.
What he said. Fame doesn't have to be a monster if we know certain things about ourselves and life before we get it. Depth, right? In this episode, I'm going to supply that depth. I'm going to tell you the things you need to know before you blow. Because fame, like cocaine, is one hell of a drug. If you stick your nose in it without really knowing it, well, let's just say that the high isn't worth the low. So, if you're curious about fame or have aspirations to fame yourself, this episode is jam-packed with ideas, observations, depth that will put you on game. Listen, learn, and thank me later. I'm your host, Rodney here, and you are welcome to The Young God, a podcast for gods.
Yep. Stand back, gotta talk. Watch cost.
Which would you rather have? Money or fame? The politically correct answer, the easy answer, is money. But if you know what's up, fame is an equally valid answer. When these questions pop up, people choose money over fame for many reasons. For starters, fame is for the brave. To stand out in the open and be loved, judged, criticized, and held accountable by many is a courageous act, make no mistake. Few have the testicular fortitude to deal. Another reason people form for fame is the alarming number of low-quality people that have become famous in recent time. They're famous for nothing or for nonsense. Fame has lost its luster because of them. It feels cheap. There's also the fact that fame requires imagination and creativity to really flex. Anybody can make and spend money, but not everyone can make fame work for them. Think about it. Look at Big Brother, for example. Every year for the past decade, 20 or so people are thrust into the spotlight for 2 to 3 months. It is the easiest opportunity to blow anyone can ever get, and yet, less than 5% of the people who pass through that system, whatever, do anything tangible with it. There's a lot of reasons for that, and if you listen between the lines of this episode, you'll get it. Another reason people run from fame is that they have skeletons in their closets, or, and this is where it gets interesting, they don't really like the person they are. They don't want the rest of the world finding out how trash they really are. If your self-esteem is low, or your conscience is guilty, fame is like a poison. But to a person who has their house in order, fame is like a roller coaster. Thrills and fun, fam. To these people, fame is a tool to change the world, to shape culture in their image. And if you can do that, you're fucking powerful. And that's it for me. Fame isn't simply about people knowing my name. It's about the quality of their acclaim and what I can do with it, what it can do for me. Here's a hot take. I would take being famous for this podcast over billions of dollars any day. Whoa. For real. Nah, think about it. We all know how dope this podcast is. We all know that The Young God is legitimately one of the best podcasts ever made. Ever. Yes. Quote me on that. Google me, baby. We all know the positive impact it's had on people and the culture. If tomorrow morning I wake up with 3 million followers worldwide as a result of this podcast, I've won. Even the Bible says, a good name is better than riches. Money is but a trifling thing compared to being known as the creator and the host of The Young God by millions around the world. Give me that all day, every day, and twice on Sundays.
Yes! Yes!
Keep in mind that attention is a very valuable and scarce resource, especially if it's good attention. Just like money, attention is also a form of payment. It's why we use phrases like pay attention, give me attention, earn attention. Fame is just attention on steroids. I get that money is more tangible than fame, but with a little imagination, fame is just as potent a tool for getting the life you want. Famous people get freebies and opportunities money could never buy. If you're famous for the right thing, you will receive favors like no man's business. Hell, if you play your cards right, fame can be your ticket to being able to afford to live in full anonymity. That's a paradox you didn't see coming in it. Let that sink in. Who's there? It's me, the sink. Truth is, most people pick money because they don't need fame. and don't know what to do with fame if they had it. But if you're an artist, a thinker, someone with a message, with something to say, you're not in it for the fame, but you need fame so that as many people as possible can enjoy or benefit from your offering. So the fame isn't really about you or your insecurities or your need for fame or attention. It's more about the people you're trying to reach. See the difference? Fam, you're a light, and a light must never be hidden. If you have a gift, if you have something to offer, you have a responsibility to make sure as many eyes, ears, hearts, and minds experience it. Have no shame about that. The question is, however, how are you preparing for fame if and when it comes? In 1968, the legendary artist Andy Warhol said, "In the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes. He said it in passing, to a friend, but it has since become one of history's most quoted quotables. Today, 15 minutes of fame is used to illustrate the idea that celebrity in all its forms will almost always be fleeting. Those first 15 minutes are usually happenstance, some stroke of luck that you don't anticipate and can't replicate. Let's say fame was an app, right? But it has an unbelievably long waiting list and a 15-minute free trial. After 15 minutes, you have to subscribe to the premium plan in the form of actual work to maintain and leverage your fame. Many people can't afford the real cost of fame. They ain't got it like that. Their credit card declines every time. But what if, before you blow, you start now to think about the 16th minute? There's a lot to consider. The first question should be, what do you want to be famous for? Followed by, what are you building or doing right now that you can leverage when the time comes? And from that point, it's like, how will you sustain it? How will you monetize it? What do you want to represent? What kind of audience do you want to attract? Hell, are you even ready for that kind of attention? Can you handle the scrutiny that comes with being in the public eye? What if the fame changes you? These are the questions. I have tried to answer these questions for myself over the years. And I think, honestly, I'm legitimately ready for the limelight. If that day should ever come, I'm gonna have so much fun with it. Roller coaster, remember? Because I've done the work and I understand myself, I understand what it takes, I understand what every successful, famous person understands.
Make sure you know yourself before you blow. Everyone's trying to blow, right? Everyone's trying to become, world famous for God knows. You don't even know what you want to be famous for, you just want to be famous, But whatever it is you're chasing, just make sure you know who you are and you have sorted out yourself personally before fame finds you. Because if fame finds you without that, as you said, depth, it will take you
to destroy you.
for a ride.
That which was meant to be good becomes evil.
Yes.
In your hands.
Real ones know what episode that soundbite is from. If you don't, there's a link in the description of this episode. You should definitely check that out.
We didn't prepare for this, but then we just became stars too fast. No private suites, no trips overseas. Girl, I'm 15 minutes famous. Girl, I'm 15 minutes of fame. It's over.
Oh, and by the way, you can follow the podcast on social media. Twitter @IamTheYoungGod, Instagram @TheYoungGodPod. I regularly post exclusive content and updates on events, all kinds of things. You don't want to miss that, so please follow. And now, a quick message from our sponsor, Avo Creative. Avo Creative is an Abuja-based creative agency that builds brands and people. It is owned by yours truly. We have a very particular set of skills acquired over a very long career, skills that make us a blessing for entrepreneurs, brands, and businesses. If you need creativity coaching, consultation, communication, and creative direction, we are looking for you, and we will find you, and we will be the creative right hand you need to be brilliant. You can learn more about what we do what we've done, and who we've done it for via our website, there's a link in the description of this episode. Or you can contact me directly for a free consultation. Before I carry on giving you this gist, let me just take this moment to pat myself on the back, because I love that this episode has the perfect song for everything. Just when you thought it was over, just when you thought it was done, another jam comes in to carry us along to the next chapter. And this song, it's perfect. If you know, you know. Listen.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar, then have no fear. The camera's here and the microphones, and they wanna know.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Lupe Fiasco gets it. If you got it like that, fame should never terrify you. You should respect fame, not fear it. And I don't know about you, but I'm a superstar. You don't call yourself a god if you ain't got it like that. I've done the work, and I've developed the substance, the character, the depth. Now, this thing about depth, it gets deep. No pun intended. Imagine a body of water. That's fame, right? The body of water, the water is fame. Do you have enough depth to contain the water without it flooding over? Have you dug deep enough to make space for fame so that it doesn't flood and create chaos around you? That's a top tier analogy, innit? I'm really rolling on this coaster. Don't play with me. Anyway, the more famous you become, the more depth you need to maintain, sustain, and control it, so that it doesn't overwhelm you and those around you. I've studied famous people and celebrity culture for some time now, and I've made some interesting observations. First, there are levels to fame. There's level 0, where you're not famous at all, and that's normal for most people. And then there's celebrities that are known locally and nationally. And then there's another level where celebrities that are known internationally hang out. And then there's the top level where celebrities like Beyonce and Jay-Z, Ronaldo, Messi, and co. Basically, everyone everywhere in the world knows who these people are. So like, among famous people, they are the hyper famous. They are the mega stars to the superstars, right? And one very strange person that falls in this category is Donald Trump. Because he's not just famous for being the president of the United States, which is already something that makes you pretty damn famous. Before that, he was already famous for being a Trump and a billionaire businessman in New York real estate. And then he got even more famous as a TV celebrity for like 15 years, which is actually hard to maintain, you know? Donald Trump really, managing that kind of fame successfully for 15 years after 15 minutes is so unlikely and so difficult, but somehow, Trump stacked fame on top of fame, on top of fame, on top of fame. That's a lot of fame, man. And when that much fame surrounds you, your life is weird. And the probability that people are going to respond to you in a normal way, in a way that keeps you sane, is very low. Especially when you're someone like Donald Trump, who is already intimidating and disagreeable. Because you chase away the people who would be most able to hold you accountable when you go a little bit too far. No wonder people like P. Diddy, R. Kelly, and others got away with so much bullshit. When you're a famous asshole, no one can tell you nothing. That's why a lot of people want to get famous, really. So that they can get away with being assholes, monsters. So they can act out their resentment and create chaos without consequences. It's not really about a dream to be this or that. It's not just, they don't have anything substantial to offer. There's nothing noble. They just want to be able to have power over people. If you pay attention, if you look closely at people, you will see these monsters hiding in plain sight. Hell, you might even know somebody close to you who has that energy. Every day, I observe people working hard to blow, but they also harbor a deep, seething resentment because people haven't given them support or given them their flowers. Burna Boy was like that before he blew. Now look at him. People like him, their drive for success is fueled by the men who oppressed them, the women who ignored them, the rich who refused them, the teachers who mocked them, the friends and family who doubted them. I call it revenge success. Revenge is a strong motivator, a weak validator, and a dangerous agitator. Bars. God damn it. Bars, yo. Guys, I'm in the spirit. But bars aside, history is full of men and women who rose to fame and fortune fueled by hate and revenge, and the majority suffered for it. It's a subconscious thing. They see themselves as the victim, even at the height of their fame. That's how they justify their dirty deeds. That's why you gotta have depth and substance, so that you don't take those feelings to heart. Work on dealing with them before you blow. Because the truth is, no one knows what you know and no one sees what you see when it comes to the work you're doing. You can show them, but you can't force them to see. The best you can do is keep refining your craft and keep showing up until you make the thing that will turn skeptics into believers. Get rid of that thought that says, I will show them when you blow. Forgive them, for they know not what they do, and neither do you. Any bitterness you harbor will not let you enjoy the fame when you get it. Fame can be a lot of fun without the emotional baggage of having to show them or pepper them. If you go down that route, bro, sis, you will alienate your potential fans instead of earning their respect and admiration. Life is always better when people love and respect you. If your fame attracts negativity and drama, that is hell. Look inward, fam. Please forgive me for interrupting your vibe right now, but I just had to shout out the legendary Young God community on WhatsApp. That is an exclusive group where committed, consistent listeners of the podcast gather to share their thoughts on the themes discussed. If you would like to connect with me and other members of this community, you can join the group via the link in the description of this episode or via any of the links on my social media at I am the Young God on Twitter and at the Young God Pod on Instagram. Do follow, do subscribe, do leave a review if you're enjoying this episode, share with your friends and fam. And now let's get back to the show. Where was I? It is time to get really real, because in your quest to achieve fame, you have to keep in mind your greatest ally and your greatest enemy, the general public.
That's the thing when you get to be famous. You enter people's thoughts and get people to talk just by stepping through a door called celebrity status.
And that's why every public figure is locked in a certain relationship. Some days it makes you feel good, other days it makes you want to break some shit.
Some days you'll be on cloud 9.
Other days you be lovesick.
Or you need more tissue.
And as every celebrity knows, I'm talking about the general public. Yeah, boo yourself.
The thing about the general public is she can just switch on you out of the blue. It's hard to resolve a disagreement with her, because she'll always be louder than you. And it doesn't take much to set her off. Before you know it, she's shouting at you, clouding all your thoughts, demanding your remorse. And if she doesn't get it, she just talks and talks.
The general public will build you up and tear your ass down as they see fit. Are you ready for that sort of relationship with millions of strangers? The dynamics of this relationship can make or break you. You have to be a really solid person internally to withstand mediocre people having an opinion about your life. Imagine you become famous, and as a consequence of that, now you have a persona defined by the general public. And that persona is important to your brand, your reputation, maybe even your finances, and all those other things that go along with that. But the problem is, it becomes a trap. Because if you can only be what you've already been, what the general public expects of you, then you can't be anything new. And that is a trap that a lot of celebrities fall into. This worked for me before. Look at the effect it produced. I will just do that again and again. But at that point, you become instantly false. It's almost like you're sacrificing your future self for whatever your past self once attained, and then you lose that spark that made you attractive in the first place. When you lose the spark, you become desperate. You will do anything to capture their attention. Any form of attention will do, anything to make them talk about you. And once you start down that path, you will inevitably do the thing you can't come back from. Mark my words, check it, history wherever, it's there, it's clear. Now here's a real-world example of this phenomenon in action. It involves Doja Cat. You may be familiar. When she started noticing the public switch on her after she redefined herself and her music, she tweeted, here goes. I'm going to do my best Doja Cat impression.
My comment section on IG used to be only positivity because I was doing what everyone wanted me to do, and I love that I can see through all the bullshit now. It's nice. Much love to everybody else that's been down since day one. I appreciate it. Heart emoji.
Then this guy came through with a thoughtful question in response to her tweet.
At what point did you feel like you moved away from the mentality of doing what others wanted? What happened that helped you make that change?
After Coachella, when I felt so tired of doing a bunch of shit I didn't believe in and not telling my side or my story with my music, when I realized I hadn't done anything personal and that I was cranking out digestible pop hits for children on Twitter to get into fights about.
This unenlightened hater replied,
Your pop hits are giving you relevance. What else do you want? Don't be ungrateful.
To which Doja Cat responded,
I'm so sorry that you'll never learn that being relevant is not all that matters in this short life that we live on Earth. Grow up.
Fame, right? It can be stifling. A reminder that in order to grow, you must betray their expectations. Still on the matter of the general public, are you familiar with Rick and Morty, the animated TV show? Well, there's this episode where Grandpa Rick was being booed by an audience at a convention, and he said this to them.
Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
That is legitimately the hardest line to come out of any character's mouth. I dare you to beat that. And soon after, he followed it with this.
Every breath I take without your permission raises my self-esteem.
That's a man who has transcended the shackles of fame. We talk about fuck you money, but there's just fuck you, period. Whereby you look at the quality of the person criticizing you and you remain unbothered. Their words have no weight. Their adoration or their hate have no power over you. You can just be free, authentic, and productive with your life. That is the holy grail of fame. If you're able to achieve this, you no get problem. That's why I say, before you blow, start now to build your self-esteem and self-belief. Fame and insecurity don't mix well. They're like oil and water. Become so full of yourself that you're not a slave to the whims of low-quality audiences, to strangers who know nothing about you, your context, or your intention. And they don't really care about you. Without this attitude, the public will have their way with you. The media will eat you alive. They will bully and intimidate you with their expectations and demands. They will force you out of your natural rhythm as a person, as an artist, until you become a caricature of yourself. Beware. Like this is the part that is scary. You don't see this coming. Start today to create boundaries. Draw those lines early enough and the public will behave. They will respect you. Define the terms of engagement with your fans early on, or they will define it for you.
Equanimity literally means steadiness of mind under duress. Just keep you cool. Whatever these motherfuckers is gonna throw, they're gonna throw a curveball or something. If it's a bad pitch, don't swing at it. And if you gotta swing on it, just keep you cool. Play the whole game.
Tell me how
all just wanna be famous. Walk out the door, everyone know what your name is. Pop bottles, everyone wanna get a bit dangerous. Still we remain, and the only thing that changes is you. Your friends saying you acting brand new. Your girl, she tired of the said she knows. You've been right here way too long, ain't nothing new. Are you ready for the limelight?
So when you have celebrities or rappers or singers or pro athletes or whatever doing the I'm not a role model thing, you are, bro. You are. It doesn't. Maybe you didn't choose to be. Maybe you didn't like intentionally. That's not how you see yourself. But if you have millions of fans and you're influential, you're gonna have some people, especially young people, who do see you as a role model. It's not really a choice.
What he said, that is something else to think about before you blow. What kind of celebrity do you want to be? A celebrity with integrity or a celebrity with notoriety? Most people want the fame without the responsibility in order to mask their ego's fragility. Fucking bars. Whoa. Come again? Most people want the fame without the responsibility in order to mask their ego's fragility. God damn. This is undoubtedly, without a doubt, one of the best bars I've dropped this season. Bar none. See what I did there? Anyway, you don't have to go out of your way to be a positive influence, but be mindful. Your attitude to this aspect of things will greatly inform the kind of audience you build and the goodwill you attract. Goodwill meaning people are rooting for you. They want to see you win. That's God. Money can't buy that. When the Bible said, goodness and mercy shall follow, that's what they're talking about.
You gonna make it, and when you make it, keep the same perspective. Still keep the same hunger, you know what I mean? That hunger is to always be, man, I feel something, I gotta go put it down, man. And then you put it down. As long as you keep that the conduit between those two places clear for that energy to come through, you're gonna always be ill for the rest of your life. Once niggas tell you hot, still doubt yourself.
I felt that one. I really, really did. I needed that personally even, because my self-confidence is through the roof on most days. Still doubt yourself. Fame is wonderful until it goes to your head. Before you blow, promise yourself that no matter what happens, no matter how high you go, you won't let yourself get carried away. You won't believe your own hype. You won't get high on your own supply. That's how the devil gets you. Self-doubt in this scenario is necessary because it is a form of humility. It balances out the ego. Personally, the more fame I gain, the more humble I become. That said,
I'm not a star, somebody lied. I got a chopper in the car.
I'm not a star. Somebody lied.
Yeah.
One thing about stars, they don't beg the world for attention. Their beauty forces us to look up. So if you are what you say you are, a superstar, just shine. Shine on everybody. Let your work speak for itself. Even if no one knows who you are, if you guide others out of the dark, you are a star. Okay? But I will say this, one last thing, or maybe the second to last thing. In your quest for fame and world domination, cherish your anonymity while you still have it. Cherish these moments when no one knows who you are, where you can walk out on the streets and go about your day undisturbed. Losing your anonymity is like losing your virginity. Once you lose it, it's gone. Who knew sex and fame has so much in common? Because these bars keep coming. See what I did there? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that in your desperation to blow, don't underestimate these moments when you can just be you without having all eyes on you. When you can make real friends and real connections. It is these memories and relationships that will keep you warm when shit gets cold. And trust me, it gets cold out here. It's lonely at the top, as they say. You get why? This goes without saying, but fame is not a remedy for loneliness. Gaining an audience is not the same as gaining friends. You need real friends, so make them now, because it's damn near impossible to do so after you blow. The adoration of that one special person or a few close and cherished people is always worth more than the thousands that merely admire you. Never forget that. True fame and fortune don't come from the outside. There must be inside jobs starting with respect and admiration closer to home. The away games don't matter if you don't win the home games, fam. So as you can see, there's a lot to consider when it comes to fame. And I hope this episode has given you something to think about. I hope it's answered your questions and cleared your doubt. At the end of the day, fame should not be something you work for. It should work for you. And if you're lucky, you'd have figured out who you are before you blow. Because then you'd really enjoy and appreciate your success. Otherwise, success becomes a cage that limits you, as opposed to a trampoline that propels you to a higher life experience. And I can just imagine that with all the fear out there, with all the uncertainty out there, there's a tendency to pull back, to deny yourself the things you want, to look at your needs and desires as something bad or false or, vain. But take it from the young God. Take it from a God who understands life from point A to point Z, and then some. Do not be afraid to go after fame, money and power and love and even lust. Just make sure you have the corresponding depth of character to balance it out. If you have that, life will always be good. And this is the young God.